When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade.
Welcome back to the Cork Football Podcast. I'm going to start off with the Under-20 campaign that finished in Tralee last Thursday night. And I suppose, look, overall, it was positive. We were disappointed leaving Tralee, fair enough, but there was definite progress after we made. And we knew leaving the game that the ref wasn't after doing us any favours, but it was actually until we watched it back on television that it was absolutely infuriating. Look, it just seems to be something that we have to live with, because there's definitely a pattern emerging of refereeing when we're playing Kerry. But I suppose, look, overall, leaving that aside, there's a few big positives. There's definitely a few senior prospects in that group. And if you look at it, you put Dara Sheedy in there, and we probably would have won that game. He would have made a huge difference. Now, another thing that I just think in the overall is there's definitely a trend across all our grades, from senior down. There's a trend of we are definitely reducing this self-sabotage stuff, as I'd call it, and these pull your hair out moments. And as I said, it seems to be across all grades. I suspect it's something got to do with the development squads. I know there's a lot of criticism of the development squads, but I think that they have weeded out a lot of these type of May Feiner type players, and players with a kind of confidence is fine, but a kind of an egotistical confidence. I think they're being weeded out, and I think there's a huge emphasis now on valuing possession, because possession is hard earned. And in the past, we used to carry players who, for want of a better word, they'd piss away possession. They had no respect for the effort that it was taking to win ball. And look, while we weren't perfect in that respect back in Tralee, there was a few moments caught us, and players just tried to do too much, and it wasn't out of an egotistical confidence. It was a kind of a naive confidence that caught us. We carried into contact just a couple of times that we shouldn't have, that we could have laid off ball. But overall, I think the campaign was a huge positive. Like, we beat them in a very tough game inside Park Kiev, and look, we ran them close the last night as well. Our heads never dropped. We got a couple of fierce hammer blows back there, and it would have been easy to lie down, but we didn't. We kept fighting, clawed our way back into it, and just a couple of things that just went against us, and we could have won that game. Another thing I like is definitely, and there's a trend, is that we have our physicality and our willingness to kind of dish out a few clatters. And, it was that definitely we've a few real tough cookies in that group. A couple of fellas in the back there, I know they're well able to look after themselves. And overall, I think just we got what we needed from this campaign, right? We're not progressing, but I think you could see 6 or 7 of those guys stepping up in the next couple of years. As I said, we've a couple of good hardy boys there in the back, and even we've a couple of tough fellas. But I like the look there of the fullback. He had a tough job there on your man Kennedy, but he seems a very kind of a very composed type of a player. Your Dara Clifford midfield, big prospect. He definitely could be on the scene fairly soon. And another guy I really like the look of is what's his name, Ricky Barrett, full forward. Now he's very raw, but I really liked he had a real honest confidence, in a good way. And I think with proper coaching, he could be a big prospect as well. So look, overall on the under-20s, I'm happy enough with it. So look, we'll move on then to the main event in Killarney next Sunday. I suppose, look, it's the first time in a long time that we're going to be travelling down there in hope of victory, rather than not getting a thrashing, for want of another word. I think it's difficult to see us being well beaten, but with Kerry you never know. You don't know what they do. They could be brilliant, and or we could push them to the wire and maybe beat them. But I think there's a couple of key things we have to be wary of down there, and one of them is just deny them these moments to demoralise us, and these that they thrive on. I think we'll have to swallow our pride early on, especially, and go along on the kickouts and not give them any cheap opportunities just to give us hammer blows. Our goalkeeping and kick-out situation isn't settled or stable enough to risk anything fancy early on. And I think we're looking at them and then going down to Killarney long enough to know that they have the firepower to go to town on us if they get a sniff of blood. I think the key to Sunday is going to be getting to the last 20-25 minutes within 3 or 4 points of them, and hopefully at that stage our fitness and the quality we have on the bench should give us a great chance to push for home. I just think we'll have to get in the overall, we'll just have to get plenty bodies around the middle of the field there, around the middle of the pitch early on, and make them match our numbers out there. Plenty hits and get the crowd going and get them pumped. The ref is this guy Falloon from County Down. Seemingly he likes to let things go, and you really have to earn your frees off him. So I think that could suit our physicality and aggression. Another thing, he's around with a bit, and I don't think he's going to be starstruck just because he's reffing Brazil down in Killarney, as a few fellas have done previously. So I'd be hoping that we could push the boundaries with him to the very limit. Another key thing is going to be our mindset around the breaking ball, and I actually think this is going to be the winning or the losing of it. While I'm advocating us to be risk averse and conservative on our kickouts, I'd like us to take risks on the breaking ball. I suppose, look, the natural inclination when you're playing the likes of a quality team like Kerry is to be overcautious on breaking ball, and you'll be inclined to stay goal side of your man, and that split second is just you're just too late. And I think we should purposely give license to a couple of our fellas just to roll the dice and just go for it and let the cards fall while they will, because I think it's breaking ball, it's 99% mindset. And I think if we play with fear on the breaking ball It's just going to play out like the last couple of years, and we'll put up a good show, but it just won't be enough. I suppose we just thing is we need to be careful around our matchups as well. I really don't want to see Daniel O'Mahony out around the sideline tracking David Clifford across the 2-point arc. I think I would prefer to see Tommy Walsh picking him up when he's out there, especially when he's out the field. And I'd prefer to see Daniel O'Mahony minding the house. I think they have too many danger men for Daniel O'Mahony to be out around the arc. I know some people are advocating for Tommy Welch to be picking up Paddy Clifford, but I'm not overly gone on that. I don't think our setup is as vulnerable to the way Paddy Clifford plays as other teams. And while we haven't been great when we're throughout the league there, when we're being run at through the middle, but he doesn't seem to do that. He prefers to pull the strings out around the 45, and I think we should have plenty bodies and physicality out there to put pressure on him, to kind of to put manners on him from doing what he likes. And I think it could be a mistake to sacrifice two of our main defenders, or actually our two main defenders, in all-out man marking roles. Look, I suppose, ironically, the injuries that we have, it could force us to have our best attacking 15 on the field for the second half. Right, we won't, without Hurley, we won't have him to bring in to the full forward line. But I think from an attacking from out the field, I think it could play into our hands. I think we'll probably see Dara Sheedy and Conor Corbett coming on for a good block of the second half, as I don't think they're going to start Corbett. And I'd say our starting forwards are going to be Chris Ogue, Stephen Sherlock, and Mark Cronin inside, and probably then you'd have Paul Walsh, Sean McDonnell, with Rory Dean or Conor Cahalane in the half forward line, and you'll probably see Sheedy and Corbett coming in. And I think if we can get those two boys carrying from deep when things start to open up there in the second half, and we'd probably be able to risk going short in the kick out in the second half, as well, that if we could get them carrying, from just inside their half into our forward line, I think could work very well for us. Look, I suppose overall I'm hopeful rather than optimistic. Please God, we can go down there and we can do ourselves justice and just and put it up to them and just maybe dare to dream, really. So look, there isn't an awful lot more to say. I just say best of luck to everyone travelling down on Sunday, and I hope it'll be a great day, and we'll have maybe we'll have the Podio Shake Up in Cork on Sunday night. I'm going to be doing another podcast either on Friday or on Saturday night. Just it'll be just a few of my own memories of going to Killarney down through the years. So as I said, I'll be doing that Friday or Saturday night. So look, I leave it there. So good night and God bless.